Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness. A legend, a rebel, and a name etched into rock history. But behind the head-banging, bat-biting chaos lies a storm of controversy. Fame brings fans, but it also stirs enemies, and Ozzy made quite a few along the way. From fiery feuds to backstage betrayals, these are not just artistic disagreements. They are deep grudges fueled by ego, addiction, and raw rock and roll rebellion. Today, we reveal the 7 musicians who could not stand Ozzy Osbourne, and the shocking reasons why. This is not for the faint-hearted. Before we dive into video, please subscribe our channel. Ozzy Osbourne's rise to fame was not a smooth journey. Born in Birmingham, England, he faced poverty, dyslexia, and juvenile delinquency. His breakthrough came as the lead vocalist of Black Sabbath, a band that changed the face of heavy metal forever. But success came at a cost. Ozzy's life was a whirlwind of drugs, alcohol, arrests, and on-stage mayhem. He once bit the head off a live bat during a concert. He was fired from Black Sabbath in 1979 due to substance abuse and unreliability. Despite solo success with albums like Blizzard of Oz, the controversies never stopped. From attacking his wife Sharon while under the influence to urinating on the Alamo, his actions drew headlines and hate. He also clashed with musicians over creative differences, lifestyle choices, and public comments. Some saw him as a misunderstood genius. Others called him a reckless embarrassment to music. Behind the eyeliner and growls is a man who burned many bridges, intentionally or not, and those bridges turned into bitter rivalries. Now we talk about 7 music stars who hated Ozzy. Number 1. Bruce Dickinson. Bruce Dickinson, the articulate and powerful frontman of Iron Maiden, never shied away from speaking his mind. While both he and Ozzy are heavy metal icons, Bruce often expressed disdain for Ozzy's stage antics and musical style. Their feud escalated during Ozzfest 2005, where Iron Maiden performed as part of the tour. According to reports, Sharon Osborne, Ozzy's wife, sabotaged Iron Maiden's performance by cutting the power and throwing eggs at Bruce. Bruce had already criticized the Osbournes' reality TV show, calling it a sad soap opera, and saying Ozzy was a puppet controlled by others. He questioned the authenticity of Ozzy's performances and often referred to him as past his prime. This feud wasn't just professional, it was deeply personal. Bruce believed Iron Maiden represented the true soul of metal, while Ozzy, in his view, had become a product of commercialism and spectacle. The Ozzfest incident left a permanent scar between the two bands. Fans chose sides, and heavy metal was momentarily divided. Bruce never forgave the Osbournes, and while Ozzy remained publicly silent for the most part, the tension never cooled down. Number 2. Ronnie James Dio. Ronnie James Dio, the legendary metal vocalist who replaced Ozzy Osbourne in Black Sabbath, had one of the most complicated relationships with Ozzy, a mix of rivalry, resentment, and unspoken bitterness. On the surface, they shared a legacy, but beneath it, there was tension that never fully healed. When Ozzy was fired from Black Sabbath in 1979, due to his drug abuse and erratic behavior, Dio was brought in as the new frontman. His powerful voice and commanding stage presence revitalized the band, leading to the success of albums like Heaven and Hell. While fans were split at first, many praised Dio's technical superiority. This comparison between the two singers sparked a silent war. Ozzy reportedly disliked Dio's entry into his band and saw it as a betrayal. Meanwhile, Dio never publicly insulted Ozzy, but his interviews hinted at underlying contempt. He often emphasized professionalism and discipline, qualities Ozzy notoriously lacked. To Dio, Ozzy represented chaos and wasted talent, while he saw himself as a serious artist carrying metal forward. Things got even more awkward when both frontmen had competing solo careers in the 1980s. The press constantly pitted them against each other, and fans fueled the fire. While they never engaged in a public shouting match, their coldness spoke volumes. In later years, Dio criticized the commercialization of metal, taking indirect jabs at Ozzy's reality TV fame and media antics. He believed such stunts tarnished the genre's credibility. Ozzy, on the other hand, continued performing and cashing in on the legend. When Dio passed away in 2010, Ozzy issued a brief statement calling him a great singer and a good friend. But many fans and insiders saw through the polite words. The truth is, Dio never truly respected Ozzy as a musician, and Ozzy never got over being replaced. Two titans of metal, two legacies, and a quiet hatred that lasted decades. Number 3. Tony Iommi. Tony Iommi, the legendary guitarist and founding member of Black Sabbath, shared one of the most turbulent relationships in rock history with Ozzy Osbourne. Though they created heavy metal magic together, their friendship was often overshadowed by deep-rooted tension, mistrust, and years of internal conflict. In the early days, Ozzy and Tony were inseparable, two kids from Birmingham who turned their dreams into reality. But as fame grew, so did the friction. Ozzy's unpredictable behavior, fueled by drugs and alcohol, clashed with Tony's need for control and musical discipline. Tony often felt that Ozzy was unreliable and disruptive, while Ozzy saw Tony as controlling and dismissive of his creative input. The final straw came in 1979 when Tony, along with the band's management, made the decision to fire Ozzy through. On Black Sabbath, Ozzy felt betrayed, especially by Tony, whom he considered a brother. That firing planted a seed of bitterness that would last for decades. In interviews, Ozzy accused Tony of being cold-hearted, while Tony maintained that the decision was necessary for the band's survival. Even during reunion tours in the 1990s and 2000s, their relationship remained strained. Behind the scenes, arguments erupted over money, set lists, and creative control. Ozzy once called Tony the most arrogant man I have ever met, and Tony hinted that working with Ozzy was like trying to tame a wild animal. Despite their undeniable chemistry on stage, the personal wounds ran deep. While they eventually found common ground for the sake of Black Sabbath legacy, the tension never fully disappeared. Their musical bond was historic, but behind every guitar riff and iconic scream, there existed a quiet war between two men who built heavy metal and nearly destroyed each other. Number 4. Sharon Osborne. It might sound unbelievable, but one of the most intense and complex rivalries in Ozzy Osbourne's life came from the person closest to him, his own wife and manager, Sharon Osborne. While the two are inseparable in the public eye, behind the scenes, their relationship has often resembled a battlefield more than a love story. Sharon played a massive role in reviving Ozzy's solo career after he was fired from Black Sabbath. As his manager, she secured record deals, organized Ozzfest, and built the Ozzy brand into a global empire. But her involvement wasn't always welcomed by Ozzy himself. He often felt suffocated and powerless, as Sharon made major decisions regarding his music, image, and even personal life. Over the years, Ozzy admitted in multiple interviews that he sometimes felt like a prisoner in his own life, controlled by the one person who was supposed to be his partner. And they're written. Our marriage was filled with public scandals, including cheating allegations, violent outbursts, and even a near divorce in 2016 when Ozzy's affair came to light. Sharon herself has admitted that she once tried to kill Ozzy during a breakdown in the 1980s, and Ozzy, during his darkest moments, physically attacked Sharon while under the influence. These shocking revelations highlight the toxic phases of their relationship. Despite everything, they remain married. But the tension between personal love and professional control never really disappeared. Sharon's dominant role in Ozzy's career made her both his savior and his enemy at times. It's not traditional hatred, but it's deep, emotional, and explosive. The line between love and war blurred long ago for the Osbournes. And in Ozzy's chaotic world, Sharon has been both the light and the storm. Number 5. Dave Mustaine. Dave Mustaine, the fiery frontman of Megadeth and former Metallica guitarist, has never held back when it comes to voicing his opinions, and Ozzy Osbourne has often found himself in the crosshairs. Though they share the same heavy metal roots, their personalities, beliefs, and lifestyles couldn't be more different, leading to a cold and distant relationship filled with tension. Mustaine has long criticized the shock value and chaos surrounding Ozzy's brand. He once publicly stated that Ozzy represented everything about the industry that felt fake and manufactured, particularly during the era of the Osbournes' reality show. To Mustaine, Ozzy's wild persona seemed like a caricature, more entertainment than music. Things took a turn for the worse during the early 2000s when Mustaine's band Megadeth was removed from the Ozzfest tour lineup. Mustaine accused Sharon Osbourne of cutting them out due to personal bias and politics. He later said in interviews that working with the Osbourne camp was like dealing with a dictatorship. Mustain, a born-again Christian, has also taken issue with some of Ozzy's darker lyrical themes, criticizing what he called spiritual errors, responsibility in Ozzy's work. Ozzy, on the other hand, never directly responded to Mustaine comments, but those close to him hinted that Ozzy considered Mustaine a loudmouth trying to stay relevant. The dislike was never fueled by a single event. It was a slow buildup of clashing ideologies, touring disagreements, and personal jabs. To this day, there's no real reconciliation between the two. While both are legends in their own right, Mustaine's disdain for Ozzy feels deeply rooted in principle. It's not about music, it's about what Ozzy stands for. And for Mustaine, that's something he could never respect. Number 6. Ted Nugent. Ted Nugent, the outspoken rocker known for his brash attitude and extreme political views, has clashed with countless musicians over the decades, and Ozzy Osbourne is definitely on that list. While both are icons of classic rock and heavy metal, their feud is rooted in a fundamental clash of beliefs, lifestyle, and ideology. Ted Nugent is famously clean and sober. He never drank, never did drugs, and has spent years criticizing the drug culture of rock music. Naturally, this made Ozzy, infamous for his wild partying, drug-fueled antics, and unpredictable behavior, a prime target. Nugent once described Ozzy as a stoned, babbling idiot, and mocked the idea of him being a musical genius. Their public jabs escalated in interviews. Nugent took shots at Ozzy's intelligence, even questioning how he could still be alive after years of substance abuse. He also slammed Ozzy's decision to appear in the Osbournes, saying it made a joke out of rock music and showed how low the industry had fallen. Ozzy, never one to keep quiet for long, responded by calling Nugent a washed-up clown and dismissed his criticism as jealousy. He made it clear that he didn't care about Nugent's opinions or conservative lifestyle, saying, "He lives in a different world too, on the rest of us." Their feud is more than personal. It's symbolic of two opposing worlds. Nugent stands for discipline, control, and extreme nationalism. Ozzy embodies chaos, rebellion, and raw emotion. Their paths may have crossed on the same stages, but their philosophies were light years apart. To this day, Nugent continues to bash Ozzy in interviews, and fans of both musicians know this isn't a friendly rivalry. It's a full-blown ideological war between two rock legends who were never meant to get along. Number 7. Gene Simmons. Gene Simmons, the tongue-wagging bassist of Kiss, has always had a rocky relationship with Ozzy Osbourne. Though they have shared stages and respect in the industry, Gene has often criticized Ozzy's unpredictability and substance abuse. Simmons once said that Ozzy was lucky to be alive and called his on-stage antics like biting a bat stupid stunts that overshadowed real talent. Their tension peaked when Gene publicly stated that artists like Ozzy glorify dysfunction, harming their legacies and influencing younger musicians the wrong way. Ozzy, in turn, dismissed Gene as an egomaniac who thinks he invented rock and roll. Despite working in the same circles, there's always been a passive-aggressive energy between the two, a mix of respect and rivalry. Simmons values control and branding. Ozzy lives for chaos and raw emotion. That difference alone has kept them at odds for decades, quietly but unmistakably.